This is Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and here's what we have coming up. Are the Eagles going to make a bold roster move and decision in the lead up to this Rams game in the divisional round on Sunday? Also, this Eagles breakout player has come up huge for this football team in 2024, and he let the world know in that game against the Green Bay Packers. Before we dive in and talk some birds, if you want the Eagles to beat the Rams, I need you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Leave no doubt. I want as many likes as this channel has ever gotten on a single video, so smash that thumbs up icon. With Nakobe Dean out with that patellar tendon injury to his knee, suffering that against the Packers last Sunday, what does Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio have up his sleeve? I will say this, losing Nakobe Dean, a massive loss for this Eagles defense. He has been such a great player for this year all year long, and his presence is really going to be missed. What he brings to this team is a high football IQ. Dude studied engineering at Georgia, was a national champion there, and the best linebacker in college football. With all of that experience and just the innate feel for the game, he has such great instincts. He's very ball savvy, where he's always finding the ball against the run, against the pass, or finding the quarterback in the backfield as a blitzer. And he's so good in all of those areas. In coverage against the pass, against the run, sniffing plays out. But if Vic Fangio wants to dial up some pressure, oftentimes he was calling on number 17's name. And Vic Fangio's trust in him was on display this year because he wore the green dot and relayed Vic Fangio's play calls to the entire defense. With him out, Zach Bond is now going to wear that green dot. And with him tearing his patellar tendon, it could keep him out for much of 2025. This is a really tricky injury from everything I've heard and done research on, because when you suffer a torn ACL, you get off crutches pretty quickly because they want you to build up those leg muscles to start activating some things with that ACL. But with the patellar tendon, it requires non-activation. So Nakobe Dean is going to be non-weight bearing for a while because he has to rest that injury. And because of that, he might not be the same player for a couple of years. And this year in 2024, we saw what we saw at Georgia. It came to fruition. Last year, he overcame some of those foot injuries. This year, he stayed healthy up until the playoff game, and he was phenomenal. 128 tackles, 80 solo, 9 TFL, 6 quarterback hits, and he graded out very well according to Pro Football Focus. Overall PFF grade of 74.5, had a pass rush grade of 82.1, a run defense grade of 80.4, a coverage grade, not awful, not great, at 59.6, but I think the eye test was a little bit better there, and he had 14 pressures as an off-ball linebacker. So going back to that question that I posed earlier, what does Vic Fangio have up his sleeve? He really has two options, because Ben Van Sumeren is also out for the year, more of a special teams player and a fullback for this team. He hurt his knee. The Eagles did bring back Nicholas Morrow, signing him to the practice squad. He's going to be on the game day roster because the Eagles need him to be, because they don't have a lot of depth at that linebacker spot. So you have Oren Burks, year 7, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr., a rookie. You can either go experienced player, who's more of a special teamer, or you go with the inexperienced player, who I think is the better player, in Jeremiah Trotter Jr. So my read on this decision, how do the Eagles replace Nakobe Dean? Oren Burks is an excellent special teamer. We saw that the opening kickoff against Green Bay, causing that fumble. He lit up Keyshawn Nixon. But he's a liability in coverage. He might be able to run, but he's not instinctual. Whereas Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is inexperienced, but he has all those linebacker qualities that Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean have. They play with feel. They play with fire. They play with physicality, range, instincts, high football IQ. And he's good in coverage as compared to Burks. And I thought that this was pretty telling in the Super Bowl back in February between the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Dre Greenlaw, one of the top defenders in the NFL, tore his Achilles early in that game. Oren Burks came in to replace him. Prior to that injury, the Chiefs had not scored, and Travis Kelce did nothing. But when Burks was targeted against Travis Kelce, he was targeted 9 times. He gave up 9 catches, 1 touchdown, a passer rating of 134.7, and a PFF coverage grade of 32.1. Yikes. The sample size is small for Trotter Jr., but I know what he did at Clemson. He was good against the run. He was good against the pass, and I think that he could be a starting backer for this team next year with Nakobe Dean out. Only 121 coverage snaps, but look at how he fared here. Overall grade of 84.7 and a coverage grade of 90. And let me say this. I know some people might be scared that he's a rookie. Look at how the two other rookies fared on the defensive side of the football this year. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean were excellent. They didn't miss a beat. They didn't show their youth. Can Jeremiah Trotter Jr. do the same? Here's what he said about playing. He's confident. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm ready. I prepared every single week like I was going to start. I try to make sure I'm always on top of whatever I need to do as far as mentally and preparation-wise. I just try to look up to the veterans to see how they prepare as well. That's all you can really do. I just have full faith in God that he'll be with me and guide me on the field. He also has a pretty good father to learn from. A multi-time All-Pro and Pro Bowler in his pops and Jeremiah Trotter Sr., the Axeman. Zach Bond saying Trot is definitely ready. He was asked, why do you think he's ready? He said, because I'm with him every day and I practice with him every day. And so obviously he's given a vote of confidence to the rookie to not be overwhelmed by the moment. But when I saw Trot play this year, when I saw him play in the preseason, you know what I said to myself? That dude can play. How soon can he play? Vic Fangio said his time might come now. And you know that Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford are going to target the Eagles linebackers with Tyler Higbee. Didn't play a lot this year. Last year in the playoffs, he tore his ACL and his MCL, so he just came back recently, a little bit banged up against Minnesota. But when healthy, he's a really good tight end, and they will press the Eagles linebackers with Higbee going up against them. So who should play more? Should it be Orem Burks or should it be Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? Type OB or JT. Share your opinions with me down in the comment section right now. Our sponsor for today's Eagles Now, our friends at Fume. You can check out their products right now at tryfume.com/chatsports, or you could scan this QR code, which is hovering here to my right. 2025 is here, it's in motion, and it's time to kick your bad habits. Fume is here to help you do that. Have you heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement towards better habits, led by the sponsor, Fume, an award-winning flavored air device that draws flavor to your mouth, not your lungs. It's a great way to satisfy your oral fixation with non-toxic flavors, free from nicotine or vapor, and it's safe to use anywhere. Its design is also about more than just flavor. It's an awesome fidget tool with magnets and clicks that help calm anxiety. You'll love how Fume feels. Premium quality, sleek design, and perfect for taking with you on the go. My favorite flavor, crisp mint. It's refreshing and satisfying without any of the harmful effects that you'd associate with other habits. And if you watch this show, you know I'm very particular about my health and the things that I take into my body. It's an award-winning device, draws flavor to your mouth. It's not a vape. It can be used as an alternative to vaping or quitting vaping. No vapor, no nicotine. It's not addictive, non-toxic flavors. It's great. So Fume has already helped over 300,000 people build better habits. Try Fume today, and if you order the Journey Pack now, using our code ChatSports, you'll get a free Fume topper, an awesome accessory to level up your experience. Go to tryfume.com/chatsports or scan the QR code on your screen. To the back half of the show here. My goodness. How about the leap in year 2 for Nolan Smith? Drafted 30th overall in the 2023 draft out of Georgia. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, but I saw some glimpses in the preseason. The twitch, the speed, the relentless pursuit, the positive energy. And I said, stop freaking out about Nolan Smith. He can be a good player. He's still young in his early 20s, and we've seen him turn the corner and more. Against the Packers in the wild card round, he had a breakout party. 8 tackles, 2 sacks of Jordan Love, 3 quarterback hits, 2 TFLs. And I'm not sure the Eagles win that game without number 3. This Eagles defense against the Packers, led by Smith, gave up 10 points on 11 drives, manufactured 3 turnovers, got a big 4th down stop. They got a hold and a missed field goal, and the offense, during a critical stretch in the game, had 5 drives for 9 yards, and this Eagles defense completely bailed them out. And Smith in 2024 put together a really good year, and if he gets a little bit more stronger and a little bit more experienced, sky's the limit for him. I mean, you get rid of Hassan Reddick. He had 1 sack for the Jets this year. You brought in Bryce Huff. He barely did anything. But you get aggressive in making moves, hoping that your young players can take steps forward and develop. That's what Smith has done. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 76.1. Pass rush grade of 70.2. Run defense grade of 77.6. 31 pressures, 6 sacks, and now has 8 sacks, including 2 in the playoffs. And when the Eagles lost Brandon Graham, what did I say here on the show? Nolan Smith, you're going to get more snaps. Time to take advantage of him. He has done that, and he's attracted the attention of his head coach. Nick Sirianni saying this after that Packers game. Nolan has just continued to get better. I gave him a game ball in there just because of his efforts. I love Nolan Smith. My kids aren't going to play defensive end. I know that. My 2 sons are not going to play defensive end. But they're not going to have the genes to do so. But I want my sons to play football like Nolan Smith. Before my kids go out to play any sport, I say, have fun, play hard, be physical. That guy is the definition of those things. He has fun out there. He has fun with his teammates. His teammates love him. He plays hard as I've ever seen anybody play. And this dude is a physical guy. And Howie Roseman has really crushed the last couple of drafts. He's crushed free agency. You think about the makeup of this roster. Let's just talk about the draft first. A player like Milton Williams is playing as well as he is. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Quinyon Mitchell, Coop Regine, Jalix Hunt, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I think Will Shipley can be a good player. Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens. Like when you lose a Jason Kelce, a Hall of Fame player to retirement, and you replace him with Cam Jurgens, that's a flex. When you lose Fletcher Cox and you replace him with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, that's a flex. When you had an awful defense last year and you were terrible in the secondary and you hadn't drafted a corner since 2002 and you draft Quinyon Mitchell and then Coop Regine and you remake that secondary, that's a flex. When you find Reed Blankenship as a UDFA, that's a flex. When you bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that's a hell of a move. When you take Saquon Barkley away from the New York Giants, that's a great acquisition. When you take Zach Bond, who had never played off-ball coverage linebacker before, and you turn him into that, and he's a first-team All-Pro in year 1, it's a hell of a job right there. So Howie Roseman has done a fantastic job. Nolan Smith is included in that, and I can't wait to see the future of this football team. Be sure to give me a follow, by the way, on X and Instagram. I'm closing in on 15K on X. Let's get there, man. And then on Instagram, you can find me also at Chase_Senior, always pushing out a bunch of Eagles content on my social media pages. And one more note before we dip on out of here. Of course, thank you so much to Fume for sponsoring today's video. Scan the QR code, use the code ChatSports to get your free Fume topper when you order your journey pack today.